Hi, it's Hope and welcome to the video. First, I want to say ignore any background noise. I'm filming in my living room and the dishwasher's going, so that is the background noise that you are hearing. But this is going to be my October, November, and December wrap-up because, well, I did not do a wrap-up any of those months. So I want to just do a quick wrap-up, just saying what the books are, maybe like a quick 30-second description of the book, and my rating, and that's pretty much it. This is going to be really quick and rapid fire because a lot of these books were just meh for me, and also I don't have a lot of time to film because I have to work in like an hour and a half, so I don't want this to go on too long because I still need to get ready for work. But so we will just start off with the first book I read in October, which was Love and Monsters by Max Walker, which is a romantic suspense borderline thriller where we follow these two guys that they work together, but then they end up in the same book club, and then one of the guys ends up with a stalker and they're trying to figure out who the fuck it is. And I gave this a 4-star. I did really like this. I read it for the Bob Book Club as it was September's group book, but I didn't read it until October. But I did enjoy it. There was definitely some twists and turns that I didn't expect, and so it was a 4-star. Next is The Labyrinth by Tori Heat, which is a monster romance, where basically there's this place called the Labyrinth, which is kind of inside the labyrinth is full of monsters, and we follow this girl, I can't remember her name, who ends up having to go inside the labyrinth and basically under the control of a monster that she ends up falling in love with. And I gave this 4 stars. It was a good read. I did like the characters. The smut was very interesting, but good. So yeah. The next book I read is Halloween Haunt by Holly Laroe, and this is a 32-page erotic novella about two people that basically fuck around a Halloween haunt. They went to school with each other, I think, in high school, and now it's they're in college and they meet up with a group of friends and something like that. It's smutty, it's good. I gave it a 4-star. It was pretty good, but not blow me away good, if that makes any sense. It was a nice read, I guess. And the final book I read in October is Kill Switch by Penelope Douglas, which was a reread for me, which I gave 5 stars because it is one of my favorite books. This is the 3rd book in the Devil's Night series, which is the series where each book is about a different guy in the friend group, but they cannot be read as standalones. The only one that can be kind of read as a standalone is book 1, but the rest, you have to read them in order. And I love this book. The main characters in this are Winter and Damon, and I love them both so much. This book is one that I will forever love, and I was doing my reread of it slowly. I think I started it in, I want to say August, but I finished it and I read most of it in October, so I counted it for October. The first book I read in November was Bite Me, You Know I Like It by Faye Quinn, which this was the October group book for Ba, but I read it in November, and this is a paranormal vampire romance where you basically follow a human who moves to this town to kind of dig more into the roots of his past, and you're following a vampire who is meant to kind of look after the human, and they end up falling for each other, and it was cute. It was a little bit long in my opinion. I did give it 4 stars. I did enjoy it, but it was a lot of filler. So that's my only complaint about the book, is it was a lot of filler. Next book is Lore Olympus Volume 5 by Rachel Smith, which is the 5th book in the Lore Olympus graphic novel series, which is a Hades and Persephone retelling, and I gave this 4 stars. It's cute. I love the series. I'm reading them on Webtoons as the bind-ups are coming out, just so that it's easier to track for my reading, because it's kind of hard to track the Webtoons if you're not reading it alongside the bind-ups, because then how many pages are you reading, how all that, it's just easier to track that way. So that's how I'm reading it. and volume 5 came out a few months ago, so I was like, okay, I'll read it. Next was Pucking Ever After Volume 2 by Emily Rath, and this is a kind of like book of novellas that take place in the Jacksonville Rays series. The first book is Pucking Around, but it's basically like a Pucking Ever After Volume 2 is novellas following the first 2 books in the series about the characters, and that's as simple as I can describe it. The series is hockey romances, so that's very much a core theme in these like novellas type thing. And I gave this 5 stars. I will love everything in this series. I do not think there's been a single thing in this series that I have not given 5 stars. I genuinely cannot think. I love the series so much. You will hear very much about a lot of that series in my top books, which I will be filming probably in the next few days. Hopefully uploading like next week. I don't know. But we will see. But I loved it. 5 stars. So yeah. And then the next book is also a 5-star read, is Of Sunlight and Starless by Riley Hart and Christina Lee, which was November's group book for Ba. And this basically is a standalone romance where you're following Tanner, who he buys this farm that his late wife wanted to buy, but she unfortunately passed away, so he was like, fuck it, I'll buy it to kind of keep that memory alive. And then Cole, who is a convicted felon who just got out of prison, who ends up working for Tanner, like fixing up the farm, and the two of them eventually kind of fall for each other. This book was 5 stars. I loved it so much. I cried. And also I got to interview the authors. Like, I got to interview Riley Hart and Christina Lee. I will link that live show. I will link all the Ba books live shows in the iCards as they show up. I should have said that for the first one, but 5 stars. Like, the book was amazing, and then also being able to interview the authors was amazing. So yeah. And on to December, which I did read a lot in December, but a lot of them were novellas. The first one is My Dad's Best Friend by Katie Robert, which I gave 3.5. So it's basically about this girl who ends up hooking up with her dad's best friend, who she's been interested in since she was like, I don't know, like 18. She's now like 25, 26, something like that. But he's like almost 50 type thing. And so it's like taboo. And they basically have a weekend of fucking. And yeah, I read this for Clipmas, which is a readathon that I was a co-host of, so it was reading a lot of smutty books. And so this one I was like, fuck it, I'll read it. It was good. I gave it 3.5. Like, it didn't blow me away. It wasn't amazing, but it was fun. Kind of the same thing is with Behind the Screen by Dana Isley. This is a sapphic, technically I think it's sapphic, novella about basically a cam girl who falls for somebody who's not kind of stalking her. And yeah, that's pretty much all I can describe without going into spoilers, because it's very much, it's a novella, so there's only like 100 pages, and if I explain more, I'll explain the 100 pages in like a word. But I gave it 3.5. It was cute, it was simple, it was smutty, I liked it, but did blow me away. It was just meh. The next book is Princess of Ash by Angel Lawson and Samantha Rue, which I gave 3.5 stars. This is the second book in the Princess trilogy in the Fourth Size series. So it's basically like a series, but there's like trilogies within the series, and so this is the second book in the third trilogy. If that makes any sense at all. It does in my head, but I don't know if it does when I'm saying it out loud, so we'll see. But this I gave 3.5. Basically, it's a dark romance. I can't really explain anything without spoiling like all of the other books in the series. So yeah, but it wasn't as good as the first book. It definitely had some weak moments, but it did also have some strong moments. So that's why it's 3.5. I'm gonna just move on. The next book is All of Our Demise by Amanda Foody and Christine Lynn Herman. This is the second book in the All of Us Villains series, which is a duology that basically in the first book we are following these there's every generation there is this tournament in this town to basically, it's a tournament to the death to basically figure out which family controls the town's magic. But this competition is different this year, and then we have our characters trying to break the competition in this one. And I give this 3.5 stars because first book was amazing. I give it 5 stars. I loved it. I was in such a slump while reading this that it just took down my enjoyment. I still like the characters, I like the plot, but I just couldn't connect with it as well as the first. Like this literally took me, I think, like 2 months to read. I think I started it in October and I finished it in like mid-December. So if that doesn't say my enjoyment of it, I don't know what that does. I do say if I would have like not forced myself to read it through a reading slump, I probably would have enjoyed it more and given it like maybe like a 4 or 4.5. But because I forced myself to read it, I just 3.5, which still is a good rating, but based on like the first book being 5 stars, it was like I think my first 5-star of 2022, I think. It's just meh for me. Next book is Barbarian Mind by Ruby Dixon, which is the, is it the 4th or the 5th book in the Ice Planet Barbarian series? It's the 4th book in the Ice Planet Barbarian series, which basically in the first book, all of these girls are kidnapped from Earth by these aliens and then just dropped on this one planet for no random reason. And basically on this planet, there are these big blue aliens. And so in this one, we are following just a human and an alien like we are in all the other ones. And I give this 4 stars. I really liked it. The Ice Planet Barbarian series, it's so trashy, but like every so often, I feel like I have to read it, and I haven't read any, like I didn't read one in 2023 up until this point. And so I was like, fuck it, I'll read it, and now I honestly want to read more. So you'll probably catch me reading, honestly, probably like a book a month this year because I really enjoyed this one. Next is Hat Trick Holiday by Ella Market, and this is a novella to the, oh my god, is it Hat Trick Heart by Ella Market? I think that's the first book of the series, and it's basically like a holiday novella about the characters in that. It is a MMFM hockey romance, and this is just kind of like the holiday novella of it. It was cute, simple. I gave it like 3 stars because it didn't really add much to it, but it was nice to kind of see the characters, so 3 stars. Then I read Bittersweet Love by Jennifer L. Armentrout, which I also gave 3 stars. This is the 0.5 novella to the Dark Element series, which is a YA paranormal with like demons and gargoyles and all that. And so Bittersweet Love, we are kind of just following 2 characters who are mentioned in the, like, who are in the main 3 books, but it's just kind of their story of how they got together, and all of that. It was cute, but do I remember the names? No, I don't remember the names, and that shows how uninterested I was in the book looking back on it. But I give it 3 stars because it was cute, it was fun. I just kind of wanted to read it to be able to say like I finished the series, because that was the only book I technically needed to finish, and I was like, fuck it, I'll read it. The next is Lady of Forsyth by Angel Lawson and Samantha Rue, which this is a novella that takes place in the Royals of Forsyth University series that I mentioned earlier. This, like, it takes place kind of throughout the timeline, and we're just following some characters. That's a horrible description, but that's pretty much all I can describe. I gave this 4 stars. It was cute. I loved being able to go back and see those characters that are from, it's the characters from the first trilogy of your in their point of views again, which I like. I really like those characters, so I enjoyed it. Next is Bridge of Souls by Victoria Schwab, which is a middle grade, and I gave this 3 stars. This is the 3rd and I believe final book in the Cassidy Blake series, which basically, it's about a girl, Cassidy, who she can see ghosts, and her parents are like paranormal investigators, and so they go to these various cities to investigate, and of course Cassidy can see ghosts, and she has her little ghost sidekick Jacob that she befriended. They're in New Orleans, and it's basically them ghost hunting in New Orleans, and it was cute. I listened to the audiobook, but I think I listened to this for like 3 months. I just included it in December because I think I read majority in December, like the biggest chunk in a month was in December of me just trying to finish it before the end of the year. But it's cute. I do really like the series. So yeah. The final ebook that I read in 2023, technically I finished it in 2024, but I read over 50% in 2023, therefore I'm counting it to 2023, is Christmas Bubble by Anna Ashley, and this is the December group book for Ba, and this is basically a kind of Christmas book where basically we are following a football coach and the cheerleader captain who they kind of don't get along at school, whatever, but then they end up getting stuck in the mountains together and end up realizing they have feelings for each other. That's a very horrible description, but I gave this 3 stars. I didn't really like it that much because it was a lot of filler, it was a lot of insta-love, and it was a lot of drama that didn't need to be there. So yeah, it's just meh. The romance was cute, but other than that, I didn't really like anything else from it, so yeah. And the final book I read in 2023, again, I finished it in 2024, but I read majority in 2023, is King of Pride by Anna Huang, which is the second book in the Kings of Sin series, and this I gave 4 stars. This basically we're following Isabella, who is a struggling author who works as a bartender at this kind of elite club of sorts, and then we are following Kai, who is a CEO of a company, and he is a frequent visitor of this club, and the 2 of them also have like mutual friends, and basically it is the 2 of them forming a relationship that they're not supposed to have because club members cannot fraternize with employees that work in the club, and also Kai is on a very strict deadline for a CEO vote that he really needs to win. He needs to be able to win his spot type thing, because they're doing a vote of who is going to be the new CEO, and he's like, I want it. And so yeah, it is just kind of a romance between the 2 of them. I didn't love this as much as the first one, which is King of Wrath, but it's still really good. I enjoyed the characters. I just didn't like the subplot pretty much. I like the romance, and that was pretty much the highlight for me, but everything else I was just kind of okay. But yeah. So those are all the books that I read in October, November, and December of 2023. Let me know what is one book that you read, let's just say in 2023, that you liked. I leave something in the comments below that is positive. But yeah, this is kind of the end of the year type things, and we're going to be starting the wrap up things of best books, worst books, stats, started series, finished series, and I think that is the main videos that I'm going to be filming over these next, hopefully, few days, and then posting throughout the month of January. I know I'm behind on all this stuff, but welcome to life, and you can really only film when your roommate's at work, and she seems to work a lot of the times you do, so not having the time, it's fine. But yeah, I do hope to start posting more videos and have a more frequent schedule, but I'm not making any promises, so I'm not setting a schedule. I'm just gonna try. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really helps my channel grow, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!